excited. This show is wild.
It is. With a capital.
Exactly, with the capital
With
wild.
a wild woman witch.
Right, I love it.
I love that at the end. It's like, and here's to my witches.
The witches.
Yeah.
That's a big moment for Tally. Because I feel like her whole conscription and her choice is really linked in not just her identity, but her feeling of belonging. Like Fort Salem is her destiny.
I interrupted you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine. I actually really liked that you do kind of have one of each character. One is kind of a family legacy where, like, I have to make my family proud.
Yeah.
And then the other one is more like, this is my calling. And then you
Volunteering.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have the other one's like, I don't want no part of this.
At all.
Put me on the front line so I can go.
Yeah.
And just kind of juxtapose. When this was pitched to you, what kind of went through your head?
So when I read the script, I immediately called my agents, called my managers. I was like, I have to be a part of this. No, I'm being so serious. I literally told my mom, I was like, Mom, this is me. Abigail really was me. Like when I say like Abigail's me, she's me. Except not as much of the, BE-ness, but no, I loved it so much. The women empowerment, how spooky it is with the spree, everything in general. And I think Elliot just has that way of bringing every single aspect together.
His attention to detail is just absorbing. The teaser hooked me. I just remember, viscerally reading when the civilians are lining themselves up to throw themselves off the balcony when the balloon pops, and I think the line was like they're landing with a sickening crack.
Yeah.
And that's his writing for you.
Right.
So it's like it's a full body experience, and the rest of the script just surprised me. I think seeing Will Ferrell's name attached, because that's the first thing that you read. You're like, this is going to be a comedy,
Right.
and I'm ready for that. And then it's going, wow, there's actually you've got these three really strong characters. You've got very different and strong motives. But they're wrestling their own conflicts and obstacles within that, and that's so complex and intricate, and the tensions between each other, and how they're all having to just be in it together to survive. Because while they're all different, it's like, and now together, 1, 2, 3, we live and die together.
Did you do any research into supernatural or in Wiccan or Wicca or anything like that, or are you just
Okay, so funnily enough, I had a very esoteric year leading up to me getting that pilot. I had my mom and I have this tradition of going into a secondhand bookshop, and we just let the books kind of just catch our eye. And at that point, I'd picked up a book by Erica Young called Witches, and it was all about this idea of going back to a far more ancient and more sacred representation of the witch as this feminine power, divine goddess, waking the woman, waking the witch, way more ancient than the typical Halloween version of the cackling crone and the temptress fornicating with the devil.
Right.
And it made you kind of question why the witch is so demonized as a symbol. And if you actually think about it, if you strip her right down, it's just a woman in power. And why can that not be something celebrated? And I remember, I also like doing some Osho tarot, which are not proper tarot cards, they're more like angel cards, and it's more like setting intention. And I remember pulling New Beginnings, and that was just before I got the call to say that Freeform wanted to meet me. And that was, talk about
baby,
spooky,
destiny.
the stars aligning, kind of. That was beautiful. So, but I don't. In terms of research, Elliot's our walking encyclopedia
Literally.
for everything, and it was a constant open conversation. The writers were on set every episode at our availability, which is amazing.
And we can talk to them about our characters, and because we are the characters, and if we have different thoughts on things, they're very open into, weaving in what we think our characters should say or things like
that's
that.
nice.
So
But this
it's
is
very
Elliot's world, so
Yes.
there isn't anything that we could really. I mean,
We can't-
We couldn't research outside.
Mm-hmm.
But coming back to the book, when I ended up sharing that with him, because we love reading, and he wanted to know the interests, and I told him about the book that I happened to be reading when we were just meeting for the first time, and he was just asking me about what I think about his show and the character, and I said, well, it's really strange. I just read this book by Erica Young about witches, and he just stopped, and everyone was silent, and I'm like, I have said the wrong thing.
I didn't get the
What I've done. And he just said, no way. That book, I read when I was a little boy, and it stuck with me. And that's just been one of the sources of what I didn't know would become Motherland.
So full circle for him.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just like, I did not read, I have no access to access. This is synchronicity, this is serendipity, this is fortuitous, this is magic.
All of these words.
All of these literal words. That's one thing about
Jessica, like, she'll just throw a word out there and we're like, so what did you...
Right, like go to
You
Google.
just say, yeah, you're a smart bean.
So I'm curious, growing up as like a black woman, and I don't know about you, but my family is not at all into magic or
No,
like
not at all.
What were your ideas on magic and witches before, and how have they changed since getting involved with the show?
I don't think I've ever demonized witchcraft and things like that. Because the pentagram does mean, everyone kind of symbolizes it close to the devil and things of that nature, but it's actually a symbol of peace. And I'm always very optimistic on a whole bunch of things. My family is not about, pentagrams and witchcraft and things of that nature.
Stuff like a blessing.
Oh, yes, no, really. It's like, please say your prayers every night. Yes, 1,000%. No, but I just think having an open mind to everything is really what helped me with this, and I just love creativity and I love creating, so I don't think I have negative views on things like that, and I think that's because I am an actress and I am...
But also Motherland doesn't paint a negative view.
At all.
So
We
it
don't.
kind of invites you to entertain that idea.
Right.
And you coming into your own power, I think we grew a lot personally, taking on these characters, and being in Elliot's world has certainly helped me feel like I was really able to wake the woman in me and wake the witch, and that being the woman, them being not separate, that being a symbol for our power.
Right. I do also think, though, it was like, when I first read this, my mom was like, witches. And
Terry.
No, literally, she was like, you booked a witch show. You are a witch. And I'm like, but we're in the army and we're fighting bad guys. Like, it's not like that. And even when, the art, my mom's like, there's a pentagram on the flag. What is going on? Like, what type of show are you in? And I'm like, Mom, like, I promise you this is all, like, positivity and light, and we're trying to keep the peace and spread the peace in the show. So yeah, I think that's my take on that right
What
there.
would you say to people who are like, well, this, you do have that
Right.
ideology, or this is bad, kind of thing, to watch the show? What would you tell them?
Well, I think that's the whole reason Elliot did create Witches in this sort of light, is to create a new narrative, and having it be a full woman cast and the gender roles are reversed and everything of that nature. It's in this show, I wouldn't say it's necessarily about witches. I'd say it's a show about women being able to come in their own, and if you watch the show, you can say, hey, that's me, and your friend can say, hey, that's me. It's very relatable, and I just feel like it's a place for you to be unapologetically yourself, and hopefully that's what viewers can take from it.
I think
Go ahead.
when you watch the trailer, I know that's probably that's gonna be the first impression, and first impressions often do kind of either put you off
Shocking.
or kind of reel you in, and I think it's just fresh. There's something about this all-girl military school. Yes, of work of magic. It's a fantasy world, but I think there's a birthing process happening there where you can catch a glimpse of what Eliot is reimagining as a symbol, not just like for America or the world, this fantastical world, but yeah, for the symbol of a woman. And I think all audiences will somehow resonate that isn't the typical. So while they may have their own judgments, as they first see it, I think there is something that just inherently just goes, it's not what you think it is.
Which kind of signifies woman. Honestly, I think like this is a woman's place. This is a witch's place. This is a woman's place.
It's not what you think it is. The show, I'm just immediately taking the wand, the broomstick, the cauldron away, and you're going like, this is something new that I haven't seen in the world. So we're dabbling in unknown waters here.
So for each of your characters, you kind of come in as almost a country bumpkin. What was the word?
I'm basically, when they said you're gonna go redhead, I'm like,
She's for a brunette.
Are you really? I am.
Oh, wow. I'm loving the red.
I am too. It's definitely grown on me.
Right.
I'm like, I'm Ronald Weasley in the Harry Potter, because he is also that's my character. Pumpkin, salt of the earth.
Called it a matron.
Very sheltered.
Matriarchal?
Oh, well, it wasn't matriarchal.
It's a matrifocal.
There we go. I was
Most people are like, what?
Heirloom avocados.
They're basically a bubbled existence, void of magic.
Away from men.
And men.
Right.
But you'll find out. I think that's the most interesting part of the world. Is the question is, where is the man?
Right.
And why? Why are they missing?
And
why do you kind of have this bubble?
And I think,
like that?
and that's also a mystery that keeps kind of you reeled in.
But I know Tally kind of has an innocence about her, kind of like
she's innocence personified. I think she's the truest believer, and it's in part because she came from such a sheltered existence. Despite her mother's best efforts to reject everything that took her sisters away from her, and has been really a symbol for her of death and slavery. Mm-hmm. She calls, conscription. That's in her mother's eyes everything that she wants to protect Tally from. But I think it has the adverse effect in that she just gets more and more curious by the things that her mother's protecting her from.
And the poor mom was just like, Daddy, don't have to do this.
And isn't that what's growing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's just that, and I think in 2 words, I just call it compassionate curiosity.
Well, so we have that kind of juxtaposed with your character.
Yes.
And what I'm wondering about is your character first is very kind of self-confident and very much, I know what to do. I'm here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to exceed, etc., etc.
Yeah.
What kind of growth should we expect from both of your characters kind of throughout the season when it comes to challenging that set narrative?
Right. So with Abigail, she does come from a long lineage. Her mother is a top general. She has a lot to prove because no bellwether has failed. Mm-hmm. And if she fails, she's like not a bellwether, you know what I'm saying? So I think she puts a lot of pressure on herself, which is what brings out that queen bee in her. Like, I have to do this. I don't care who's in my way. No one's going to stop me. The thing she learns is it's not just her that it takes to get to where she needs to go. She has to rely on Tally. She has to rely on Rael. And it's a group effort to get there. So she definitely, you will expect in the season for her to go from being like me to team. And I think that's what makes a leader, is realizing the fact that it doesn't just take yourself to lead. It takes a group,
And how about your character?
Tally starts off being the truest, earnest, trusting world saver.
Yeah.
She's gonna really contribute. She knows that goodness is in her and the world needs more goodness. And it's quite simple. And if only things were that simple. And I think that's the childlike earnesty that Tally is, and that's what makes her volunteer, and that's what makes her this joy of enthusiasm and passion and curiosity. but at the same time she's really naive and idealistic, and she will go through hurts. She'll have her heart broken in different ways, and she will learn through also her developing gift, which is can we say
Knowing.
talk about?
She's a knower.
As a knower, and that starts to be very vague. I think she almost doesn't feel too exceptional, especially in the presence of the great Bellwether, who's this amazing blaster, and Rael, who is this mysterious rebel healer, and both have this amazing fury, and kind of alpha omega, unstoppable force means immovable object, and there's Tally, this like shiny peacemaker. Let's all be friends and take a deep breath. And you go, I think she's just so happy to be a part of it all, to be a part of something greater. She doesn't need to be exceptional,
Right.
and that's a talent in itself. But her talents, they almost seem instinctual, almost intuitive, and then you start realizing that it's the knower aspect of her, the sight. It's not just looking through walls, but looking into people's hearts and minds. She learns that she can see, and she will see things as they are, not as she wished they were.
And she can't take that away.
And she cannot unsee.
Yeah.
Right.
And how that affects, because it really is, it's a visceral thing for her. It changes her.
I'm curious about like the boot camp aspects of things. And
Shall we dabble?
Yeah, let's just dip our toe in that one.
First day of us shooting.
Yes,
Let's go.
that was literally my first day on set.
A montage sequence.
Yes.
Leopard crawling
That
down the
you
barbed
see-
wire.
The rain towers, it was freezing cold. We're crawling under barbed wire. We're climbing that wall. We had bumps, we had bruises. We do all of our stunts.
We had amazing stunt coordinators and trainers.
We trained for 2 weeks
So
before.
that scene with you guys are the thing.
that's real.
Oh, that was real.
And it's like, oh my god.
No, for real. No, it really was, because that was after our full day of doing this, running up and down. Oh, all real.
That was not acting.
Not at all.
It is a military fantasy. There are some moments of where magic is. It's just you're not gonna just stick to the magical aspect of it. It's gonna be like also this physical strength, and display of strength.
We definitely.
It was tough,
Yeah.
but rewarding. I for one, as not a very athletic person, in fact, in school, I may have stayed in the art room or the library. Found myself having to really confront, the upper body or lack thereof, and then really going, I can do this.
Yeah.
And actually going, I can do it, and then I do it, and I'm like, I can do it.
I think putting
That's
us
pretty
through-
cool. That's
yeah.
pretty
That's
cool.
very empowering.
And
Yeah.
very empowering, because I
Yeah.
think you kind of go back and it's cliche to say that we set our own limitations, but it's true.
I think putting us through that ringer together as Taylor, Ashley, and Jessica made us stronger as Rael, Abigail, and Tally. It definitely made us become a unit,
And we wanted to serve our characters
We
as well.
did.
We were like,
We
it's
did.
the military, let's do this.
yeah, and we went all out. Like, there's no half-assing anything.
It's war.
It's war, and we
We'll
treated
live in
it like that, honestly.
And it came across very authentic
Yeah,
on
it
the
did.
screen and in the performance.
Yay!
so
Very
much.
excited about the show.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
Thank you so
Thanks for
much.
you.
Thank you.
Questions.
Thank you.